Uh, yay. Progress.
Something else broke instead. There we go. Hello! For some reason, OBS is switching up my settings every single week. Yay. Alright, so I see that my little mic is giving sound, and I saw earlier that the Zoom call is giving sound, so we should be good. Alright. Hello, everyone. We are back at Dragonlance. This is session 4. We do not have Sim today. It looks like I didn't save my change by having her name in there. I apologize. It's clickbait. She's actually not here. I'm sorry. She's feeling a little under the weather, but we're hoping to have her back next week. So back down to a 2-player game for this week. Yeah.
I'm sure the powerhouses can handle having all the attention for one game. I'm sure y'all can do it.
What?
I'll try to tone down the combat encounters. What?
Yeah, just for me, because I keep getting my shit rocked every combat encounter.
I don't know what you're talking about, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so who wants to recap?
Shy does.
Damn.
I did it last week.
Yeah, you did. I was waiting for that too.
I ran away. Sorry, right before the game started, one of my cats took a huge shit. Now my whole office smells. It's great. Um,
Put lemon juice on it.
no,
The spot, not the poo.
no, it's in the litter box, but the bathroom's over there.
Oh,
Okay. So,
it sounded like it just walked up on your bed and took a shit.
no, I would have much stronger feelings about that if that was the case. Last session, let's see, the I wrote Boss Lady Sir Adrena Darksbane. I don't remember who that boss lady was.
The the kind orc guard answered your question about who his boss was, and he called her boss lady.
Right, because they were all heading over to this city, but we have not seen any guards yet since we've been here. We had a conversation with Gimpy, the half orc guard, who was collecting supplies before him and, as he told us, the rest of his troop headed down to Vulgar, since they were all fleeing the town before attacks happened. We met and spoke with. Come on, my tablet's just not being nice today. Can't scroll through my notes. I think Davalin, who told us that, or didn't tell us, but made it clear that he was not going to be leaving the town or the main city, and that he started collecting militia before we left. We, on our way to Vulgar, we met a young Minotaur woman, or half Minotaur woman, who was being captured, kind of, by the local towns guard people, who had told her that she was in trouble because her boss was in trouble. And the only thing that she really told us about that was that she needed to get back. So she was able to really get herself out of harm's way, thanks to a well-timed distraction by Blink. She then jumped into our cart, and so shenanigans ensued, and Blink was thrown from the cart and took some fall damage from the road burn on that one. We arrived into town, in which we found Durgan being tied down by 20 different guards, and a fight ensued, with Blink sniping from the roof and Basil and Gemini on the ground. And it didn't go as planned, but Durgan, Basil, and Blink were able to dispatch the guards, and we all returned back to their homestead, where Gemini tried to heal the party up a bit, and then we took a long rest, as with a plan to leave in the early hours in the morning, with a hope that the guards don't find us, either from this town or from the previous town or whatever else bullshit might happen. So I think we left off with beginning a long rest.
Yeah, it's about right. Well done.
Yay.
Just trying to figure out the sociological geostructure that is this horrible map. Uh, all right. Next thing may be heading towards. Fuck it. That's the new capital. Whatever. I'm the god of this world. I can do whatever I want. All right. So, You two have just got to your guest room. Guest rooms and finished a night's rest. Since you two do not need as much rest, you wake up before Durgan and your new half Minotaur friend. Is there anything that you two would be doing during this wee hours of the morning to prepare, perhaps, or maybe to have a private conversation while the other two are not conscious?
Yeah, I'll probably be downstairs trying to collect items that would be needed and assess our medical supplies, things like that. So if a Gemini would be downstairs just kind of tending to whatever it is that we might need.
Okay.
Actually, at some point, actually, probably the first thing she would do is she would find a table and she would prepare the herbs that she had gotten from the medicine woman 2 days prior and do whatever she needs to do to actually work them.
You got a mortar and pestle?
I would assume so, but that's more of a backstory thing. I might have lost it during my journey. I should pick one up.
Roll a d20.
Sure.
If you roll a 11 or higher, you got it. If you don't, well, you lost it.
Yeah. 15.
All right. You miraculously find your mortar and pestle completely undamaged somehow. All the shit you've been through, it's kind of a surprise.
I need to pack that better. And actually, I'll be sitting at the table and tending to that.
Okay. What about you, Blink, our resident sociopath?
I think you're muted?
Has this town been like completely besieged? Like no one is living here.
Oh no. There was plenty of people in the streets before the whole fight situation broke out, but
Okay.
the guard presence is definitely lacking, to say the least.
Okay.
It's not as bad as it would be if it were a large city like Calaman, where you came from.
Gotcha. Yeah. Blink,
People
I
like
guess it's
people like this are able to survive with a small regiment, is what I'm saying.
yeah. I think Blink is just gonna gather his gear, make sure everything's accounted for.
Okay. Do you head downstairs at all, or are you just staying?
Yeah. I would after I've gathered everything.
Okay. You see, as you make your way downstairs, Gemini is currently grinding away at something using a handheld mortar and pestle.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll investigation to see what that is.
You think you're gonna roll, or are you gonna ask me if you can roll it?
Well, I mean, can I?
Sure.
It's a 3.
It's green. You think? It's kind of dark. Could be coffee. And then again, you've never seen green coffee before, so. If you're more curious, you'd have to go up and get a closer look.
You're up early.
As are you. I enjoy the hours in between when elves wake up and I suppose everyone else does. I find I can get the most done during those few hours.
So we do have something in common.
That you're a morning person?
No, I just enjoy the time in between.
How are you feeling? You took quite a few stumbles yesterday.
I'm feeling fine. Thank you for that, by the way.
Least I can do, can. Well, I think Basil means well, but I get the feeling that she hasn't been out and about too much.
Brains and brawn are not a likely pair, it seems.
I know that you want to have a little bit of Braun traveling with us, but obviously I do not want to take her anywhere that she would be unsafe. But perhaps someone of her tenacity would be beneficial after all.
Perhaps she definitely will draw the locals' attention at least.
That is true. Is there something on your mind?
No, I just don't like sitting idle. What are you doing?
I am making a potion's too strong of a word, but a poultice, I think might be a better phrase.
A what?
Poultice?
Poultice is correct.
Yeah, and I kind of like show the. You see, it's turned. It's just become like a shit. What's the word when you first grind it up? It's not a liquid. It's not solid. It's like kind of like gelatin. Almost like a porridge.
Paste?
Thank you.
Really? You thought of 2-3 syllable words before you thought of one syllable word?
Yeah.
I
Blink
normally
looks
have my
confused.
coffee
He's
at
never,
2. It's
he's
now
never seen
4.
this.
High wisdom, low intelligence.
Blink didn't know any of those words until she said paste.
It's a medicine.
Interesting. That's one way to not draw as much attention, I suppose.
Oh. Right.
So, where did you learn to cast magic?
School, I suppose.
School. What school teaches sorcery?
When you follow divine beings in a society that is built around such beings, there are teachings that you have to learn. How to present yourself, how to act, ceremonies, and spellcraft.
DM, this may be a history check.
Do I know?
This may be a history check for me, but would I know if the Chaos Wars already happened?
Ooh. Yeah, go ahead and make a history check. That's
Okay.
that's a toughie. The DC will be pretty high though.
Yeah, it's a 4. So, I can imagine we're probably pre-Chaos War. Okay.
Imagine whatever you like, sir.
Worshipping openly is unique, for sure.
You keep saying that. Why is that?
Anyone who dare utter a spell I've seen executed by blade, or worse. People don't like things that aren't the same.
I can understand the potential fear. But I try not to do harm when possible.
It's not me you need to convince.
I understand that. You do not seem frightened of my abilities, but you knew people similar to my skill set as well, so you told me.
Yes, that's not new to me, but it's been a long time.
And where, if it is so uncommon to worship, if you don't mind me asking, where were your people? Or these people?
What do you mean? My
Like-
people.
Well, I assume that you came from somewhere.
Well, yes, I imagine we all do.
This person that's worshipped and was a sorcerer, as you put it. Is this something that she kept hidden, or is this something that was part of your community?
It's definitely not part of my community.
Smart. I can do this.
I come from a small coastal town. People don't like different there.
I see. You mentioned that you once saw someone's hands removed for spellcraft. Is that the same person?
No. I've traveled a lot. I've seen a lot. I've seen mobs raid houses in the night, dragging people kicking and screaming only to be slaughtered by the sound of a blade. I've seen that damn symbol one too many times.
The cultist symbol.
I've seen your people do horrible atrocities.
I see.
Let's press a button real quick.
I... What?
You all heard that
I'll sit up.
coming from outside. It's a bit more distant sounding than that, but it's a loud horn.
That was a horn. Okay.
And then you hear this. Gabo, my dear Gemini, make a wisdom saving throw.
Yep. Great. Come on, Gemini. It's like one thing you're good at. 15. 9 plus 6.
So, since this is the first time this is happening, I'm going to be a little lenient with it. But, Blink, you, after hearing this loud sound, you obviously, like, you're startled and you're out looking at what could have fucking caused that. Then you hear that horrid screech coming from within the city. And you hear a clattering behind you, and you see Gemini looks to be having a panic attack, clutching her chest. I'll let you enact your own panic attack, but
Yeah.
just know that you know.
Yeah. The mortar and pestle has tipped over. I don't think the contents have spilled out per se. It's not really a liquid, but she is clutching the gem around that she keeps around her neck, and is her eyes are wide, just staring at the doors.
It was just a single sound effect, but that sound doesn't actually like stop. It's just periodically going on all throughout the city. You hear the screams coming from not whatever that sound was. People are screaming.
Are they here? Are they here already? Ready? I.
One second, I have some technical difficulties.
I'm gonna put my other hand, try to just on the blade at my hip, and try to steady myself.
Make another wisdom save.
Ooh, 13, so 19.
Yep. You managed to... Actually, why don't you go ahead and tell me how you managed to hold on to your... I don't want to say sanity. Hold on to your wits and regain composure.
I have one hand on the gemstone around my neck, this blue gem, and in the other, I'll finally put a hand on the blade that I have kept with me this whole time. The blade that was given to me in a moment of trust, and reminding of why I carry that blade and why I'm here.
You regain full composure of yourself. I will say that that's effect that I mentioned to you before can only happen once an encounter, so you don't need to worry about that for the remainder of this situation.
Sure. I'm gonna look to Blink. We should wake the others.
Aye. We'll head upstairs.
As you turn around to start heading upstairs, you can already feel the ground shaking under this giant minotaur's feet, as he has the lady that y'all met the other day just slung over his shoulder, still asleep. And he just he starts running past y'all. To the wagon.
I'm gonna quickly double back and just gather up all the stuff I had like scattered out a bit. Just put it all in my bag.
He kicks the door open and holds it for y'all as y'all get in, and he closes it behind y'all. You all see that your wagon has also been. Let me rephrase that. You all enter the large garage area and see your wagon has a new addition to it. This is now a quote-unquote wagon train, as a second cart has been attached to the back of it. This one's made of more densely packed wooden and some iron material. It's larger, I want to say, bulkier, definitely. This is probably his portable forge. As there's a little smokestack coming out the top, but it completely ignores that, tosses the half minotaur lady into the back of the wagon and hops in himself. We need to leave now.
I'll pull myself up into the driver's seat of our wagon and just look at Blink. This seems like it was to happen too fast. Does this mean that's...
Is there ever a good time for an ambush?
Right. One thing at a time. I'll
Are you in?
hold a hand out to Blink.
I'll hop in.
Rejected. All right. You hop in, and the horses begin to pull both wagons. You'd think it'd be a little bit slower, but thanks to the assistance of the magical horseshoes, it doesn't seem to impede their speed in any way as they pull the two wagons out. And just as you begin to exit the horseshoe-shaped smithy, you see a few people running through the streets and are immediately shot down from crossbow fire in the distance. They're dead instantly.
Oh, God.
People are being slaughtered in the droves right now. You see people, cloaked figures running through the streets, cutting people down. Some of the guards are starting to fortify or not fortify, muster up some form of defense to try to get people towards the dock so they can swim away on the boats, but it's not looking good. Gemini, you do not yet see any of those horrid monstrosities that you saw in the tavern, but you can hear them. They are out there, but you don't know where they are.
Do we see anyone that's obviously a cloaked aggressor?
Yeah, you see several all over this place.
Okay.
Like for every one like for every one guard, there are two cloaked aggressors.
Okay. I'm gonna hand the ring. I don't know who was driving. I'm guessing it was Blink. But if not, I hand the rings to Blink. Um, as he does otherwise. But I'm going to start using Toll the Dead on anyone that I can see as an obvious threat to someone else. Just as like a drive-by spell shot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and
It's wisdom saves for as you're going by.
what's the save DC?
14.
With how many there are, I'm not going to roll
No.
individually. I'm just going to roll a mass one. But
And honestly, I don't think it's enough to
unfortunately,
drop anyone.
yeah, unfortunately, they passed the save.
Yeah.
I can say that you're maybe just a bit too panicked to focus on your magic right now, and it just
Yep.
doesn't have the same effect as it normally would.
Sure am.
Towards the docks. You see Durgan leaning towards the front of the wagon and pointing in the direction of the docks right over. Map. Map load, please. Thank you. Load, please. The hell? Oh, there we go. Yeah, he points towards the wharf right over here. Near the large crab-shaped building. Luckily, it seems like most of the sounds of fighting are coming from this direction, near where the cliffside and the forest is. This is where you came from. And you look over here, over your shoulder, and you can see the keep is set ablaze. It's hell on earth right now. People dying in the streets, men mustering up futile defenses to protect their loved ones, and fire lighting up the sky. Make a roll real quick. It's probably going to determine your adventure, actually. Both of you make perception checks.
Are we in the sunlight?
You are not. It is not sunrise yet.
18.
18?
25.
25. Both of you pass the check. Blink, we'll start with you. You hear a sudden updraft. Not unlike how a fire would cause an updraft, seeing as fire pushes air up. But this feels different. It's too large and sudden of an updraft for it to just be from the fires that you've seen. And then you feel another one. And then another one. And the increasing intensity of the updrafts is getting hard to handle. Like you're actually having to grip onto the side of the wagon. You're not sure what's causing it, but whatever it is not fire and definitely not small. Gemini, you do the one thing that nobody ever does. You look up. And you see your nightmares made realized as a large, unfathomably large, winged creature just flew overhead. And you see it fly down towards the building's levels, just barely able to see it with the light from the fire of the burning city as it spits fire onto the people below it.
What the hell?
You are bearing witness to a dragon.
I think the Toll the Dead just is completely forgotten. She kind of like falls back down the seat and just grips onto the side of it. What the hell's... What are we supposed to do about that?
But what? Oh dear God!
Yeah, you see something just spit fire onto the city.
Well, I vote that we run.
You two talk too much. Durgan reaches over both of you and grabs the reins and cracks
Oh, I
it
see
over
where
the
she
horses.
gets it. Ah!
He is not slowing down or stopping for anybody, even people that are directly in front of the horses who get
Oh.
trampled.
My God.
But he does get you all to the wharf really quick, as in within 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and move y'all over here. Blink, why don't you make a nature or history check?
14.
You don't know a lot about dragons. You've read about them, obviously, as most people read stories about them, but you've looked into it a little bit. There are quite a few dragons that can breathe fire, but only one dragon is this aggressive. That's also that large, and it is the most dangerous of the dragons, the red dragon. They can destroy cities alone, and this thing has an army with it. Maybe
There's
the
there's
army
a,
has it.
okay.
You aren't quite sure. It's a little too chaotic to make any quick summaries of the battlefield. But eventually the wagon gets pulled up to a rather medium-sized boat, I'll say. It seems to have some weird water wheel on the back of it. You're not sure why someone put a water wheel on a boat, but you don't question it. You just get onto it. As Durgan pulls the wagon up to lever and pulley and just puts the wagon onto the boat. It takes up most of the space, but you're able to move around. And Durgan goes back under the bow of the ship, and you hear a large cranking sound, metal against metal, a few times, and then one last one, followed by a few sputterings sounds, and then you start to see the water wheel turn on its own as it begins to go a little bit faster and faster, and the boat starts to move. Welcome to ye old's motorboat. Let me make one last roll. Is there anything you are doing at this time, or are you just following along?
My eyes are fixed on the dragon destroying the city.
Yeah, the boat somehow manages to get away from without the dragon knowing. Uh, mm. You all manage to get a good distance away, at least far enough away to where you don't hear the screams anymore, but you can just the sounds in your head, the sight in front of you or behind you. That there's no other way to describe it. This is hell. This has to be what hell looks like. With each flyby, the dragon's underbelly is set ablaze as it engulfs the city of Vulgar in flame. You also see that people who got to the boats just a little bit later than you have are being burned to a crisp as the dragon is destroying all ways of escape. You managed to get out just in time. Durgan makes his way back up to the top of the ship and takes the control of the wheel. What y'all thinking about right now? Seeing what just happened within the last 5 minutes.
How far are we from land now? Have we already set off?
Yeah, you're at least 500 feet away from the wharf. The dragon doesn't seem to notice that you have escaped. You are looking back at the wharf, right, Blake?
Yeah.
Make a perception check.
20.
Dirty's one?
Yep.
You can just barely make out a figure that stands out from the rest. The people that aren't, burning to death or running away or trying to jump into the water. Uh, he's just standing there, looking out onto the water. You think he knows that you are gone, but it's staring at you, whatever this person is. And like a cheesy horror flick, as soon as someone runs past him, he's gone.
I think Pleek is gonna just start assessing the situation, making sure the Gemini is good.
Hey, Gemini, you good?
No, God, no. Yeah, she's shaking a bit. I don't think she's on the car, but she's like standing on the railing, just looking at the fire burning, the dragon overhead, the death.
Oh, if you want a two-size comparison, you see the map?
Mm-hmm.
See this little dragon picture right there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the dragon.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, she's
Quite
not crying or
dodge,
anything.
innit?
She's obviously shaking.
Do we have maps of Kryn available to us?
Yeah, you managed to purchase one before you left Calaman.
Is there like a table? If not, I'm gonna like pop down the bed of the cart or something.
There's not a table per se, but you could lay it out onto the floor of the cart for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pop it out and just gonna spread the map out so we have like a full like map of Kryn.
Wow, look at that. There's the map.
I'd be like,
Good
all
thing
right.
we had that prepared.
And it'd be like, where are we going?
You are currently on this river right here, heading from Vulgar down here in this direction.
Ping that again.
Down in this direction.
All right, so we're on this river.
Yeah.
Which way did the armies come from? So they came from the east. So they came from the east. Okay. We could stop it here, here, and here, and I'm gonna like point at the different places along our route and be like, and gather as many reinforcements as we can. But we need an army to fight that.
All of the
Hey, snap into it. I need you here right now. Don't worry about that. Many more will die if you don't focus.
Right. Kellerman. All the guards that were from Kellerman were at Vulgar. Do you think that any of them were still there when there wasn't that many guards in the street fighting? Maybe they weren't all there. We might be able to find them. There's not an army, but some.
Why don't you make an insight check, Gemini, for asking an astute question?
Fuck. 13.
It doesn't take a tactical genius to figure that out, but you left after the army, or the regiment of guards did, from the city of Calaman.
Yeah, they weren't
You
there during
made it.
stacking.
You made it to Vogler before they did, assumedly, and then that ambush happened with a dragon in tow before you saw them. One of two things could have happened. One, they were never heading to Vogler, or two, they never made it to Vogler.
They got attacked on this road or something. Okay. Gemini will still hold on to the hope, but probably they're all dead. Well, they're just faster traveling on the water than we would be on foot. Perhaps, and I'll trace a finger down the river. What is that city? Melgoth? But firstly,
Can I start rolling my knowledge of the different kingdoms and areas?
You are new to this part of the world, but I will
Very new.
Let you make a roll at disadvantage.
Yeah, I want to know if there are any like super powerful names that I would have heard.
Define name. You mean like name of people or name of
Like
countries?
oh, I know this kingdom's got like a grand army, you know, just
Yeah, that doesn't require a check at all. You've been on the surface for the entirety of your life, so you definitely know about them. The Knights of Solamnia are the single most powerful fighting force in this side of the continent. Their only rival was the Kerr barbarians and the what the fuck were these people called? The Northmen. But seeing as that dragon came from that direction, you don't have a lot of hope of going over there and asking them to help. If they're still there.
Solamnia may be our best bet. They have a grand army. I'm not sure how keen they are to outsiders, but we could stop at these little villages along the way, but it would just slow us down.
where is Solomia?
I'm gonna like circle it.
The entirety of entirety of that region where it says to the last tower, to Thelgard Keep, to the Hinterland, that all is Solamnia.
Where is it?
But the capital is right here, is a port city called Palanthus. Yes, I am a genius.
This is where we need to go then, and I'll point to that city. You said that, and I'm looking at the map. You said that you were on a city by the sea that did not like things that were different. I'm assuming that is not this city.
No.
How unforgiving to outsiders are they? We're not exactly the most inconspicuous group.
I'm gonna look her up and down. It may be a rough welcome.
And I'll look at the two minotaurs in the back.
Let me make a quick retcon real quick. Y'all are not heading towards Melgoth. You're actually heading towards the bay area right here where Kalaman was.
Oh crap. Okay.
So the beast came from
that direction.
So wait, I'm gonna draw in red real quick. Dragon came from this area, right?
Yes.
And we're heading this way.
Yes.
Yeah, we're turning the boat around. Step one.
That's not how rivers work. I'm sorry. Rivers lead into the ocean, not against the current.
Oh, our boat's not powerful enough to go against the current.
This might be a motorboat, but it is ye old motorboat. It will break.
Alright, well...
Besides, there is no river that leads to the city where you're trying to go to. You have to go around.
We'd have to go this way.
You got to go around the north wastes and into the Bay of Brancala to... it has a wonderful name. It's the Gates of Paladine.
That will take... It's a very far distance. But I'm gonna look back over behind us. Durgan, we were sent to find you. Do you know why?
Durgan takes a step away from the wheel and walks down to where y'all are. Well, like I said, I am the cat of favor.
a rather large favor, and I can only assume he sent you to me for my expertise.
In what exactly?
Where'd it go? Oh, diamonds. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Ah.
He just kind of gives you a dead fish look.
Do you, do you really have to ask?
I look over at Blink and then back at him. Is there something I'm missing, Blink?
God's grace. I am a master smith.
Some
You're on
favor.
a vessel I can guarantee you've never seen before. I create engines of war, girl.
To be fair, this is the first time I've been on those ships, so they're all new. Is this not standard?
Oh. Let's just say this isn't the first time we've fought in the Dragon Army.
Well, we're obviously unprepared to fight them now, and we're heading right towards them, so we need a plan.
Luckily, there aren't many vessels that can move as fast as we can in the rivers. But as soon as we make it to the Delta, any amphibious forces they have, well, we'll just have to try to avoid them.
Is the engine loud?
It makes noise, but it's not like a train loud. It's just like a paddle boat loud.
And I imagine the dragon army has more than one dragon, yes? What's to protect us from that?
You can't protect yourself from the dragon. But
He says as he walks over to the wagon that he attached to yours. He reaches under the wagon, presumably pulling a lever, and you hear a lot of metal clink, 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 clinks, chonk, 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 as the top of the wagon actually begins to unfold and slide down into the walls as what appears to be a mounted cannon of some design is on here. It's not like any cannon you've seen before, but it's small enough to fit on it. But it's still it's some kind of weird design you've never seen before, but it's relatively small.
we can ward it off.
Who do you think, Gemini?
What was that?
What do you think, Gemini? Head to the bay, or should we head south, further inland?
I think our best bet is going to be the bay. If their army is marching, there's a chance that we might be slipping behind their lines. And my guess is that we are going to be a lot faster on the open water than on over the land. As strange it is to say, I think I'd much rather deal with just a dragon than a dragon and his... well... there were quite a few shadowed figures that I would assume cannot walk on water. But considering all that has happened in the past 2 days, I think we might be safer if we keep to the coastline.
Alright.
Plus, and I'll point to the mountain range, if there is no way to get to the city due to those mountains, the dragon or dragon followers would definitely have the advantage there. But I do not know this area.
It's hell. And I'm just gonna, I guess, ready an arrow, and just kind of wait as we're taking the aquatic route.
Are you taking any precautions to try to make the ship less conspicuous, perhaps quieter in some way? If so, give me what you're trying to do.
What does it? If to prepare spells, can I only do it off the back of a long rest, or
Yes.
okay? Shite.
So at the end of every long rest, you can set your prepared spells.
Okay.
Can we get a description of the ship too? Like, can we see a picture of it?
Oh, sure. Let me just grab that totally prepared image.
I'm actually gonna. Gemini's going to find a quiet place to sit and rest for a minute, and she's actually gonna start doing an elven long rest. Less sleeping, but more focusing on her spellcraft to attempt to complete a long rest in order to re-prepare her spells.
Okay. That's fine.
So I guess see if anything happens in the next 4 hours. Actually, before that happens, I'm gonna cast Aid on,
Alright.
I'll say the 3 people that we currently have conscious. So me, myself, Blink, and Durgan. Max HP increases by 5
Okay.
for the next 8 hours.
All right.
It is not temp HP, it is just a rise in 5. And I'll attempt to take a long rest.
I mean, you already finished a long rest. I'm okay if you just want to like set your spells now. Like that's completely fine as long as you haven't cast any actual spells yet.
I will redo some of my spells. Damn it, Shy!
I'm trying to find the name of that fucking. It's not a tugboat. It's a. Do you want concept art or do you want map?
Either or.
It's another called like river boats or something, but
I want spell to drop. Sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. If I have... Oh, wait. I'm a ritual caster. That's right.
Right.
I'll still switch it out. I will draw Prayer of Healing for now to take Silence. And I will cast it ritually near the back of the ship, focused around... I don't know how wide the ship is, but... focused around where the engine is to try to muffle the sounds of, or not muffle, silence that.
Okay.
And
That's
it
cool.
lasts for 10 minutes, so I'll attempt to just basically sit there and just keep concentrating on the spell and ritually casting it, just to keep it up.
Do you want to like continuously cast that over and over again, or do you want to wait until maybe you get into a place where it'd be good for an ambush to cast it? Because this boat's faster than like a rowboat or some sailboats, but it's not that fast. You'd run out of spell slots in an hour, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can ritually cast the spell, so I can take
Oh.
11 minutes to cast it. So my thought was, and it's cost.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work. I don't know if I could do that, but either
Oh, that's
just
completely fine.
cast it and then basically start recasting it as I'm sitting there. So every time it goes off, I'm basically doing like a 1 minute gap before I recast it again.
Yeah, that works. I'm
Okay.
fine with that. That's a unique and interesting way of casting silence. I forgot it was a ritual spell.
Yeah, and I'll say for that, I basically can't do anything else except maybe small conversation, but just I'm just sitting there casting this spell and basically doing the Mass Effect. I'm holding this bubble thing.
Okay. Just around the motor or around the whole boat?
Just around the motor and maybe like the back half of the ship. So there is some space that we would still be able to stand out and hear, because sound, it's not just sound can escape, sound also can't come in, I believe. So not the entire ship, if I can help it. Yeah, because no sound can pass through. So that way, if Blink wants to stand on like the front of the ship, so he can still hear what's going on outside.
Yeah, I'm standing on the bow, Assassin's Creed style, with a bow drawn, just ready to pounce.
There you are, you little scamp. God damn, there are not a lot of good images. I can show you where the idea of the boat came from, but I can't show you a good image of what the boat actually looks like. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. Have any of you ever seen one of those single rotor river barges?
I'm thinking of like the ones they have in Florida with the big fan on the back.
Not a fan, but yeah,
I'm thinking one of the ones from Well.
maybe.
Or also like
I'll
a
just post it
paddle.
in general so y'all can see it.
Or like the paddle
It-
boat they used to have in the Mississippi.
That's the yeah, like that. It's one of the paddle boats that go up and down the Mississippi River.
Oh, okay.
It's got that massive motor on the back of it. It's not that tall, but it is wide, flat, and it's kind of like how you would imagine one of the large cargo freighters that carry a lot of stuff on them. It's flat but wide, but it's powered by a large motor like that. So I'd say it's about 80, not 80, 60
Like
feet
one of those
long.
boats used to get a car across the lake or something.
Yes, it's like 60 feet long and 20 feet wide.
Okay.
But it's just off the water surface by maybe about no more than 10 feet.
Cool.
Okay, so I can get actually 40 feet of silence. So you said the boat was how long?
60 feet.
60? Okay. So actually, I'll have the entire silence spell over the ship. So the front 20 feet still can make sound, but the majority of it cannot.
Okay. Are you inside the silent spell while you're concentrating on it, or are you sitting outside?
No, actually, I'll sit outside because I don't have to be. Yeah, it's a ranged spell, so actually, I could be sitting just outside of it. Actually, I'd have to because it's a verbal spell. So I've seen near the front of this ship.
Okay.
That's ironic. You can't cast silence while you're in silence.
What a conundrum. I don't like that button. That's not a good button. Y'all go ahead and do what y'all gonna do. It's gonna be a bit of a ride. Hopefully nothing comes out the water.
I'll take my. She'll take her hat off at this point. Have it just sitting next to her. Is it still night?
Yeah, the sun hasn't even graced the sky yet.
Okay, yeah, she'll have her hat down off by her side at this point.
So, your hunters. Do they work with the dragon army?
Me?
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of. I wouldn't think so, but I'm not certain.
Perfect. So you and I do have different enemies. Lovely.
What do you mean?
This is not my first run-in with this army.
Do tell?
Oh, this is just not even a fraction of their power. I've seen legions of men slashed down, but I've never actually seen a dragon before.
What is... Obviously, the dragon army is pretty self-explanatory, but what is the purpose of these people?
What is any corrupt purpose, power, notoriety, wealth, you name it?
Fair enough. Did this... Have you fought... You said you fought against them before? Or just ran in with them before?
A little bit of both.
You don't hear that?
Yes, I'm guessing it's the water?
Yeah.
Was it the same situation? Just a sudden, overwhelming attack?
No. Well, yes. Typically we get the cities evacuated sooner, though.
Cities. How many times have you encountered this group?
It's been a few times. Different factions every time, as the one man spoke a truth. The Dragon Army is not one army, but multiple.
That is discouraging. I never would have guessed that this area was under such threat based on what we saw before the army showed up. If there's been so many attacks. What, DM? God damn it.
I'm not worried about the army. It's that symbol that I'm worried about.
What's so terrifying about the symbol if not the army?
I'm terrified because I don't know it.
That's understandable, yes.
An army wouldn't fly a flag if it had no meaning. For this to now be appearing, for them to be displaying it so proudly, surely can't be good.
Hey, so remember that y'all are on a boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And remember how boats make noise when on the water, even if you're casting silence on it, like the water just being displaced makes noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty quiet all of a sudden. Hence the sounds being turned off.
I'll look back off the side of the... I can't see over the side of the boat where I'm sitting, but just like... I guess look over the... up to see if there's anything I notice.
Like you're looking over the side of the boat to the water, or are you looking
Not
up?
down in the water. I'm currently seated casting a spell, so we say over the side because it means both looking down and looking out. I'm looking out, not down, because I'm seated, having to look
Just out?
up over the railing. Yeah.
Make a Arcana check.
Oh, good. 13.
13. It's just eerily quiet. You're not sure why.
Do you hear that blink?
No.
Why'd the water stop?
I don't know. I'm gonna ready an arrow.
Knock an arrow back. Are you gonna investigate anything?
Yeah, I'll look over the side.
The water's
So
not
this-
moving.
The water's not moving. Is the boat moving?
Process of elimination tells you no. Why don't you make a perception check for me?
13.
13? Doesn't take a lot. You've been in nature for a long time. Like nature is your cup of tea, all that kind of jazz. nature doesn't stop for anything. Nature continues living its life no matter what happens, even if it's being actively destroyed by humanity and all the other races. It has literally stopped. Nothing is moving. The water sits still. The birds and the trees about to take flight are frozen. The leaves falling cease their descent. Only one sound can be heard. As a very easy to see mist begins to roll in from the bay, encroaching on the vessel. What do you do?
I'm gonna slowly start to back up. My arrow's still readied.
It's another ghost, bro. You gonna shoot it?
Maybe.
I'm gonna stand up.
Gemini, what are you doing? Yep, same.
I'm
All right.
gonna stand up and look at the fog. What? Actually, I don't think I've ever seen the ocean before. I don't know anything about fog cover. But I'll look at the stillness. What is happening?
I was hoping you would know. This is another one of your tricks.
Make a religion check.
$19.
Natural 20.
Yes.
Sweet. What gods do you worship / believe in?
Well, like believe exist or
Believe in exists or worship, whichever is which for you.
Gemini is a follower of Mishakal.
God of compassion, healing, and love.
Yep.
Okay. What about you, Blink?
So I have ties with Solnari. I don't worship Solnari.
You have ties with Solnari, all right,
Yep.
but you do not worship her.
I do not. I worship Nutari. But I also have some issues.
Interesting.
I also have some issues with Takis though too.
Everybody has issues with Takis.
Yeah. Not a fan of Takis.
It's the fucking point of the campaign. Everyone has
Yeah.
a problem with Takis.
Yeah, just not a fan.
Anyways, none of that matters. It's none of that. But both of you do recognize this as something that can only be seen as divine, because nature has ceased
Yeah.
its function, and time appears to have stopped for all but you two and this encroaching fog.
I'll pull
And
out.
good.
I pull out my little crystal around my neck. My the same blue stone that followers of the Blue Lady carry. One of her symbols. Does it
Okay.
look any different? Does it feel any different?
You felt the presence of your god before, as most clerics have, most paladins even. This feeling that you're getting as you grasp onto your amulet is similar but different.
Okay.
Similar in a divine sense, but different in a familial sense. This is not your god. It is a god, but not your god, that's giving you this feeling.
Do I get the sense it could be the other goddess that was in my life long ago?
No, definitely not. You
Okay.
immediately recognize that.
Yeah. Then anything else is fine.
As the fog begins to surround the ship, it begins to bleed into the surrounding, enveloping the coastline and the forest alike, until eventually all you can see is this dense, deep fog. And the moon, just over there, right above the bay. It's a full moon tonight. It's beautiful. Eerie, but serene in its own way. And out from the mist, or rather, the mist itself begins to approach the ship in the form of the top half of a humanoid male as it begins to materialize maybe 30 feet away from the vessel, standing, or, well, the upper half of the chest reaching up to heights of 40 feet. And the
What
moon directly above its head, wearing it
what
like a crown.
what phase is the moon?
Full. And where the misty fog entity materializes, it looks as though the moon behind it, full, is worn like a circlet, a crown upon its head. As it opens its eyes, two beams of moonlight strike the vessel. And in your heads, you both hear in your native languages.
Greetings, children. I am Brancala. I come here to ask of you a service. Child of Solinari, you who worship my sister, you and your friend are required to stop the calamity that approaches this world. Like it or not, the strings of fate have decided that your lives are to save or to destroy this world. Your choices will affect everyone around you. The world itself hangs in the balance, children. I ask, no, I plead for you. Save our world. You must head west to Palanthas, the capital of Salamia. There you will find a man by the name of Belethor. Seek him out and show him this.
His large fog hand reaches out towards you, and a small shimmering trinket floats down towards you, Gemini.
Present this to the Belethor, and he will know what it means.
I'll take it and I look at it.
I'm sorry, but I must go. My presence here is breaking many a divine law. Please, take my heed. Save our world.
He begins to dematerialize. Is there anything that you wish to say, ask, before he disappears fully? I mean, this is basically divine intervention done in reverse.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
quite literally a once-in-a-lifetime event.
Gemma's a little starstruck. She'll just bow in the way that she think is proper. It is not her place to speak.
Wait.
So what you need to say?
Where is she?
Let me do a quick thingamajig. Before the material or before the divine entity begins to fully dematerialize, his gaze meets yours, Blink, and words are not spoken, words are not heard, but images are relayed. You see mountains, you see rolling hills, you're flying over them, and eventually you see what appears to be a dormant volcano. You've seen this volcano before. You don't know where you've seen it from or how you remember it, but it's like a bad irony taste in your mouth, a horrible dream that you want to forget. And then you're brought back to your senses before the entity before you begins to fully dematerialize.
Go now, children. The fate of this world is yours to decide.
And the fog begins to fade away. Let me just get to the sound effects.
I'll open my hand and look at the trinket that he gave us.
Nature seems to resume its course.
I'm gonna open my hand and look at the trinket to see what it is he gave us.
It's a little harp.
A harp?
Clearly not harp,
Harp, okay.
as in the instrument. Clearly it's not meant to be played. The strings can move, but it's far too small to be able to produce any sounds.
Like this big?
This big.
Oh, smaller. Okay.
Yeah, like
this-
3 inches.
Okay, I will fasten it. I'll like take off my amulet and thread the string through like one of the gaps in the harp.
Okay. That's fine. Add to your inventory. Add to your inventory Broncala's harp.
I look to Blink. You spoke to a god.
Don't remind me.
You must drop down for it.
I would have if I didn't hold my tongue.
I know how to feel about what we just saw. It's not like we can refuse, but what are we supposed to do?
Prepare for a fight.
You are aware after this thought comes to your mind that not once did he make a demand of you.
Yeah.
You actually heard him basically beg for your aid in the oncoming cataclysm as he worded it.
I don't know if Gemini would do it that way. I cannot find the item. I don't know if it's just because I don't own the book.
No. It's a custom item.
Oh, gotcha.
How closely are you examining the harp?
So once it's strung pretty closely.
Why don't you make a Arcana or Religion check?
Those are the same. I don't know why they're both intelligence.
Whopper, 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 Junior.
Because you gotta study to know what a god is. You gotta read the book.
Thank you for the sub, Mystic! Ooh, that's a 17, so 18.
18?
Yeah.
You are really tempted to pluck one of these strings. For such a tiny thing, there's 6 strings in total, and each one seems to be very, like, spider silk thin. You're a little worried that if you were to pluck it, it would break, but surely a god, even an avatar of a god, wouldn't give you an item that could just break if you were to pluck it. Alright?
I feel like you're baiting me, but I'll take it. She'll just gently...
You're not compelled. You're not compelled. You
It's
can
not,
say
it's not
no.
a compulsion. It's just like I have a feeling
No.
these do something.
It's like, it's just that itch in the back of your head, like, I really want to press that giant red button. But do
Yeah.
I? There's no impending sense of doom, but you have no idea what would happen if you were to pluck one of the strings.
I'll wait until we're not on a boat in the middle of the water trying to flee from a dragon. But I'll keep that in the back of my mind that I really want to see what this thing does. Perhaps when we're in a safer place.
And what of you? You're accepting gifts from them now.
You are surprised? It's not a gift, it was a demand.
A unique experience.
Indeed. It was pleasant.
Where are we at?
You are, judging by how fast you are moving, maybe about right here, where the bay is actually starting to open up into an estuary.
Can we see Calaman from where we are? Or the remains of Calaman?
Yes and no. You do see where Calaman was, but you do not see Calaman. You see a rocky area covered in black glass, completely covering where the city of Calaman used to be.
What time is it currently?
It's about to be daybreak in about 30 minutes, so the sky's turning purplish. Why don't you make a nature check, Gemini? Go ahead, Blink.
So it's still like fairly early.
Yes, it is extremely early. What? 4? I really want to tell you, but that's such a shit roll.
It is a shit roll.
Blink, Saber, make a nature check.
I have no bonuses in that.
I don't care. You can't roll worse than what she rolled.
Roll better than a 4.
10.
Good enough. You've been near a volcano, right? You think?
Fortunately.
You know what obsidian is, right? Volcanic glass?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a lot of obsidian. But there's no volcanoes here. Also, where the fuck is Calaman? And why is there just an entire slate of obsidian? Volcanic glass. Just where it used to be.
Gemini's just standing at the edge of the boat, looking at the city now, clutching the gem and the harp.
Do I notice your body language change?
Yes.
Was that your home?
That's where we just were.
No.
What's coming in? How's that possible? It's out in a few hours.
And they want us to fight it.
No one survived today.
Make a perception check. There's a lot of driftwood in the water right now from people who were trying to escape by boat. There are no intact boats. But by pure chance, you manage to catch a glimpse of a weirdly shaped piece of driftwood and realize the reason why it's weirdly shaped is because someone is on it.
Think.
How far out?
40 feet.
Yes, what's up?
I'll point it out. There's someone there.
Do you have any rope?
Holy shit, I don't. Why do I not have rope? No, I
Blink, you probably have rope.
I do. I have hempen rope. But the fact that she doesn't have rope concerns me. I'm
Wasn't I starting here?
I'm gonna fish out some rope. I tied onto an arrow?
No, hempen rope's way too thick to be tied onto an arrow.
Damn.
Can tie it on to the railing and then to yourself. It'd be hella cold though.
I can't tie onto the railing and onto myself. I think I'll do that.
Alright. You're a ranger. I'm not gonna have you make a check to see how well you can tie a knot. But you do the double hangman knot. Make sure you definitely don't get loose. Both around the railing and around yourself. Do you jump into the water?
Give me one moment.
I'm also gonna flag down Durgan as this is happening, so he comes over to potentially help pull him out.
So you're gonna like turn around and get Durgan's attention?
Yeah.
Durgan's been
she-
watching this whole time.
Well, as soon as she turns around, Starlight step.
That's the teleport ability?
Yeah.
How far?
As close as I can get, so 30 feet.
So you're teleporting.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Blinking, essentially. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you definitely teleport. What are you teleporting onto?
Well, if he's 40 feet away into the water, then I'm gonna swim the rest. So it's just gonna be like, I'm gone in a flash, and then in the water.
Okay, that's fine.
Turning to
You
flag
are-
down Durgan, because I don't know if he can hear. I'm assuming he's in the silent spell, so I'm like basically waiting for him like he needs to come over, and then turn around and.
Oh, were you holding onto the rope in any way, Gemini?
I wasn't handed the rope.
Yeah, the rope was tied to the boat and then to my waist.
Yeah. Blink. It's not a hard swim. The water is not rough at all. You manage to swim over to the person and kind of just grab them and try to tug on the rope.
Well, as I swim up to the door, kind of, Jack style in Titanic, and see who it is first, or if the person's alive.
They're kind of like leaned down and covered in a cloth, but you pull the cloth back and you see Jace.
Jace. Yeah.
The maid in the manor.
Oh my God.
Are they conscious?
No. But they are
No.
breathing.
All right. I'm gonna start kind of towing the rope back, like grab a hold of the door, or stick a dagger in it or something, just to get a good grip on it, and start pulling myself by the rope back towards the ship.
What rope?
The rope that's on my waist.
You teleported out of the rope, sir.
Technically, items move with me.
It's not an item.
technically clothing moves with me, and at this point in time,
not clothing.
it's a belt. It's a useful belt.
Is it? Roll a persuasion check, sir.
Against God.
Ao is feeling generous. Let's see how generous.
It's a 9.
I don't know.
I think it'd go with me.
Ah, hell. Go ahead.
All right, sweet.
I'll let it slide this once.
Is it athletics to pull myself back to the boat?
Yes, absolutely. You're pulling yourself and a person and driftwood on a hempen rope towards a boat that's pulling
16.
away from you. 16? Yeah, it's definitely a struggle, but you do manage to pull yourself foot by foot. Eventually, Durgan does get your attention, and just kind of walks over and reaches down towards the rope and just starts. You are moving through the water really quick right now, and then he just kind of drags you up the side of the ship.
Okay.
Well, when he's closer, I reach down the best of my ability and try to help him and this other person up onto the boat.
You see Jace.
What?
Soaked and very shallow breaths right now.
Are we able to get her up onto the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say that as soon as
he tugged them both over the side.
Okay. As soon as she hits the deck, I'm immediately hitting her with the Spare the Dying. And then we start doing a medicine check to see if she's injured besides waterlogged, start CPR, that's what's needed, whatever to make sure she's not going to die on the ship.
Luckily, she wasn't in a dying state. So she was already stabilized, she was just unconscious.
Okay.
But she does appear to be just from... actually, did you make your medicine check already?
I can. 17.
17? Just from a glance over, you can tell that she is malnourished right now. She is suffering from hyperthermia, from being submerged for God knows how long. And she has a lot of scrapes on her hands, likely from her trying to keep a grip onto the plank while it's being, torn apart from whatever destroyed the boat she was on. And part of her clothing has been singed, but she does not appear to have any burns. Aside from that, she appears fine.
I realized I took a homebrew cantrip without running it by you. Forgot it was homebrew. Manipulate life. It's the one that Karma had.
You mean the one that was slowly killing her?
Yep. Would you allow that cantrip?
I mean, I guess. But read it out to me again, so I understand how it works.
Sure. Manipulate life. The caster touches a target creature with an empty hand. One of the following effects happen. Steal life. They immediately drain the target's life force. Target takes 1d4 necrotic damage, and the caster gains half the amount of hit points rounded down. If the target dies, gain additional 2 hit points. If the target's original hit points is lower than the maximum damage dealt, gain no hit points. Number 2, grant life. Immediately supply the target with life force. The target takes 1d4 necrotic damage. The caster takes 1d4 necrotic damage, and the target gains half that amount of hit points rounded down. Combine life. 3. Combining the above 2 features, the caster stores stolen life force instead of absorbing it. The caster must use a bonus action to pass the stolen life force onto another target within the next minute or so, or absorb it itself. If not, the life force dissipates. Attacks made against the caster requires you to pass a concentration check, or the effect ends. The target does not take any additional damage when transferring life force this way. Really, I would just use it just for the granting life.
I have the as one too. The one that he gave me for that campaign is heal someone for 1d4, but you take a level of exhaustion.
A creature whose life force has been stolen becomes exhausted for 1 round. And then, of course,
I'm gonna say no.
okay.
No on that one.
Move it.
Because that
In
just sounds like cure wounds with extra steps and more drawbacks.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, I'm just gonna hit her with the cure wounds.
Roll it up.
15.
15. Not bad. Let me go ahead and get her sheet open real quick. Dice. There you are. Alright. You said 15 HP?
Yes.
Sweet. Is there anything else?
Try Garrett to wake up.
Oh, yeah, no, she definitely wakes up. You kind of just did a defibrillator on her.
Yeah. Jace.
She sits herself up and leans back against the railing.
What happened?
Just as soon as she wakes up, she immediately recomposes herself.
You were leaving the city. What happened?
Ah, yes. We did leave the city. This is true. Many escaped, luckily. Though Lord Bonaparte, he refused to leave until everyone else was on the boats. Well, they all got on the boats.
She looks back over the side towards the debris and what you can now make out to be bodies in the water.
That road of good that did them.
Look over to Blink. We need to see if we can find anyone else.
Start just looking for any slight movement or anything in the water to signify someone could be alive.
Make a perception check. Gemini. Jace stands up in front of you and begins to undress.
Alright. Are you... Oh, she just sits... Gemini will straighten up. Are you hurt anywhere else?
That is what I am checking for.
She says as she begins to look all over her, patting herself down. She's doing everything that a doctor would normally be doing in this situation, taking off the clothes to examine the body, make sure there's no large open wounds,
Yeah.
which there appears to be none.
I'll reach a hand out and just... Let me help you. And I'll follow her example and look her over for additional wounds.
Make a medicine check at advantage, because she has proficiency in that.
Natural 20.
You check the places that she cannot, and aside from the shivering that she's having, which she's trying her best to control, but obviously when you shiver, you have to shiver. You see that she has no large wounds on her, just a few cuts and bruises, nothing that won't heal with a bit of time. She thanks you for your assistance and begins to fold the damp clothing and holds her hands out in front of it. And you see her cast magic. Prestidigitation. As she begins to dry her clothes.
Incredible.
It is nothing. Just basic magic. But you know this already.
What you doing, Blake?
Did I find anything with a 19?
You find a lot of things. None of them are moving.
Do I see any, like, Any supplies like floating?
You might
Anything
see
like
a
that?
few waterlogged crates, but the amount of effort it would take to get them would not equal the gains wrought.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no, we're not playing Raft.
Yeah. I'm just gonna look back at Gemini, gonna shake my head no.
See a half-naked Jace as well.
What about?
Does she have any tattoos or marks on her body?
Aside from the marking of her fur, like her natural fur markings. Not that you can see.
Okay. There's nothing out of place.
I mean, all you can see is her exposed back for now.
Yeah.
You'd have to, like, actually examine her to check for anything else. Which, good luck, sir. This is a woman.
No, I was just making sure she didn't have the symbol of the beast.
No, definitely not. Not from what you can see.
What about?
Were you about to ask something, Gemini?
What about the Lord of the Manor? Was he on that ship?
Oh, Lord Bonaparte is fine, as far as I can tell. He was not aboard the vessel when it was destroyed, and he is not liable to die. He is too stubborn for that.
I know that feeling. Very well. Do you know where he is or where he went?
She looks out onto the glassed city. Do y'all know what it means when something gets glassed?
Yep, Halo Reach.
Droid, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what you just said. Like, that's what happened to the city. It was glassed. She looks out into the city for a few moments and then looks back to you. I can only assume that since the city is destroyed and when he was not on one of the vessels, he must have departed to Sarania, the capital.
That is beneficial, I think.
Indeed. I can assume this is where you are going?
Yes.
Very good. She stands up and begins to redress herself in a very quick manner, by the way. Like, normally such a uniform would take at least 2 or 3 minutes to put on. She does it in like 30 seconds. And she turns around to you and places a hand over her heart and does a quick bow. I kindly request your assistance in taking me to the city.
Of course, we are heading there as well. No, nothing stands anymore.
Indeed. It is as my lord predicted. The city is no more. He will know what to do next.
How far are we from the shoreline?
About 180 feet.
Do we see any residual forces, like searching over the rubble in the city or anything like that?
There is no rubble. There's
No
no
rubble?
city.
It's just barren. Okay.
Everything has been melted down to glass.
Cool, cool.
Very good. I will begin preparations and begin tightening around the ship. It is... She says she rubs her finger across the railing. Not clean.
I appreciate that, but are you... well, truly?
I have suffered worse. You need not fret over my safety.
Of course.
Good morning. She gives a quick bow and begins immediately cleaning everything. Like a fucking kleptomaniac. Any thoughts? conversations to be had. Silence is dropped, by the way. What you thinking about?
Where are we at as far as the map? Are we still
You
about
have,
right here?
No, you have definitely passed Calaman and have entered the larger part of the estuary, and you are just about to make it to the throat of the bay that leads out into the Bay of Roncalla.
Yeah, Blink's pacing back and forth from each side of the ship, watching the shoreline, making sure there's no enemies, especially as we're getting close to this bottleneck.
Yeah, for sure. I understand that. You just sailed out of the debris field too. This is probably how far any of the ships actually made it before they were destroyed.
Do we question how she survived?
Well, she could have just gotten lucky. Or she could have been the reason this ship sank.
Which one do you think?
In times of war, trust is earned, not given.
Facing everything with mistrust is how you end up alone.
But God talked to me today. Nothing's out of the question.
I am nervous.
For
I just motioned towards the glass city. We were here not what? 6 hours before? 8?
It's been about maybe 18 hours since you were last in the city when you last departed anyways.
18. Less than 24 hours.
we can only hope that they got out.
What was that?
You do remember that Jake did tell you that a lot of people did make it to boats before theirs was destroyed.
Can only hope that they all got out.
Indeed.
And who knows, maybe this could be a blessing in disguise.
What do you mean?
Well, if I seem to recall correctly, some rather unfavorable people who didn't like you were in that city.
I don't think that's a blessing. Too many innocents died.
You learn to find the good things where you can.
Maybe in time. But not with this. There's so much death today.
And there'll be more tomorrow if we don't get help.
Agreed. As you said, keep it together. I'm keeping it together.
The best you can.
I'll be alright. I just didn't want to see this again. Same as you, I suspect.
Yeah. Next time you're getting in the gross death water.
I do
So I'm like
not-
brushing myself off.
I do
Yeah,
not-
you're still soaked.
I do not know if I can swim.
You don't know if you can swim.
I've never tried.
Well, you should learn.
Do not push me.
We're on a
into water.
boat. We're on a boat.
I am aware.
And there's giant flying beasts that spit fire.
I'm aware.
Sinking is a possibility.
Yes, I am very much aware of the dangers of not being able to swim while on a vessel on the water, even though it's my suggestion to continue on the coast. One trauma at a time, please.
There's like she's saying this, I'm like slowly handing her the rope.
I'm not getting in the water. I'll move away from the edge of the ship.
Opportunity attack.
Huh?
Opportunity attack for a grapple check.
Is that strength?
Oh
you
my
serious?
god, are you really?
Yes, that's strength. It's an athletics check
Oh,
versus your athletics or acrobatics.
I'll
If
take-
you're genuine.
acrobatics.
You
19.
said I got advantage. You said I got advantage, right?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, then I rolled a 4.
And what'd you roll, Gemini?
19.
So not only do you fail to grab her, but she manages to grab the rope that you intended to wrap her in and ties your wrists.
Patrick.
Oh,
It's not tied very well, but you know, it's enough to stop you from grabbing her for a moment.
I like shake myself loose.
I'll say before, if I'm able to, I'm gonna like do like a whipping motion with the rope and catch it under my foot, and then pull on the rope using my foot as like an eyelet,
Yeah.
just to knock him off balance just a little bit.
Okay.
You definitely have rope burn now. Not major, but enough to leave a rash for a day, maybe.
I'm gonna start untying myself.
Please do not throw me into the water.
You should learn to swim.
No,
Untying motions of disgrace.
I'll go back far from Blink in the center, as much of the center in the ship as I can get, and I'll start again ritually
you can
casting
go-
this silence.
You can go down under deck. You can go into the wagon. You can go into the large wagon that Durgan attached if you want to investigate that. All that you've seen is that there's a small cannon attached to the top of it.
No, I don't want to go through his stuff, to be honest. I think I'll just go back to the center of the ship and I'll just resume my ritual casting of the silent spell.
It's no longer nighttime, and you're aware that if anybody heard you, they'd see you first.
Okay. Then in that
Speaking
case,
of
I'll
that-
Jace. Yep.
Do I see anybody on the shorelines?
Would you roll for perception? It was a 17, 19.
Yeah, it was a 19.
No.
No. Okay. I have an arrow knocked. It's not readied yet, but it's there.
All right. Good. Gemini, you said you're going down deck to help Jace?
Wherever she's at, I'm just gonna go help her. And
Yeah,
also
she's you last saw her heading downstairs. Why don't you make a stealth check?
make a stealth check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to see how nimbly you can go down there without making a creak, creak, creak down every step.
Oh, 8. That checks out. I'm not very
Creak,
used to
creak,
sea.
creak, creak.
Yeah, I'm like struggling like as the ship is like, and I think we're on a river, right? So we're not exactly rocking back and forth. But
Yeah,
I'm
no,
still...
you're definitely not rocking back and forth. But you definitely hear a shuffling sound before you make your way down there. Quick shuffling.
Yeah, I'll make a way.
Startled shuffling.
I'll step down.
Yeah.
Jay, so you alright?
You see that she has somehow managed to procure a broom from somewhere, and she's just currently standing in front of a barrel looking down at it. You just barely notice the barrel just kind of rock a little bit.
I'll put a hand to prep for a spell.
You see Jace just kind of flick her wrist and a dagger's in her hand now. She puts the blade onto the side of the barrel, looks at you, and basically is telling you, "Are you ready?"
Like to stab into it, or just like to pop the lid off?
She's about to knock it over to knock the contents of this thing out onto the floor.
I'll just give her a nod. Prayer spell.
She flicks her other wrist and another dagger's ready, and she knocks the barrel over, and out rolls a few cabbages, some vegetables, and some weird gremlin creature that's been eating those said vegetables.
All right.
It's in the middle of eating, and it just looks up at you.
Hello.
Hello. He keeps eating.
A gremlin creature. Okay. I'll kind of like look up at Jason.
Let me describe it better. It's not like a goblin gremlin,
Yeah.
if that's what you're thinking. It's more like a scaly dog with a
Wait.
long tail.
I'm thinking like a kobold.
Yes.
Yeah. Just.
Mhm.
Uh. Just to put it out of the way, I would suggest that you don't attack anyone on this vessel. If you would plan to.
He's just staring at you, and he's just slowly eating the food that he thinks he's getting away with.
Yeah. Who are you?
Uh, no,
No?
no. You want to hear my name?
Mm-hmm.
No one asked me that before. Uh, I don't have none.
Alright, so we can.
I mean, called Rat, Becker, Shithead, and Good for Nothing,
Alright. Alright, we can.
Thief,
We'll definitely work on
Gremlin.
something better than any of those. What's.
Oh, Shitstein!
Alright.
I
How
have
long have
none.
you been in that barrel?
He looks back into it. You can assume this barrel was at one point filled with rations and is now just a few measly cabbages and a handful of radishes that are slowly being devoured by this guy who has been eating and talking at the same time. He has not stopped eating.
Yeah. Is this one of the barrels that was on our carriage or one that was brought on by. Shoot.
Durgan?
Yeah, Durgan, thank you.
You're not sure. It definitely isn't one of your barrels, but I mean, if there were barrels in his wagon, he wouldn't have had time to just grab it and put it down below deck. This is probably here for a while.
On the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been in the barrel on the ship?
Um, not great counting. Before Big Hairy Hornman got grabbed by smaller, not hairy men.
Alright.
Lots and lots of screaming. Hid away in barrel and started eating. Haven't stopped. Says as he takes another bite.
Yeah. Right. Blink! Could you come down here for a minute?
Jace at this point has retracted her knives and is just staring down at this little creature.
I'm gonna start heading downstairs, I guess.
You make your way downstairs, and the first thing that you see aside from Gemini is a small draconic creature just eating cabbages and radishes.
Looks like we have a stowaway.
What is that?
Well, we're still trying to determine the name. What's exactly are you? If you don't mind me asking. I don't think I've seen a creature like you before.
I'm me. Haven't been asked that question either.
Oh God, that voice is so scratchy in my ears.
Vermin? Is that what I am?
No, you're not a vermin.
Oh,
I,
I've been called thief before.
Blink, have you ever seen anything like this, Jace?
I haven't the slightest idea what this cute, adorable creature is.
We don't have these in Kindamore.
Its existence pleases me. It is very adorable.
I'm inclined to agree, except it ate through quite a few of our supplies.
It could be a mimic.
Could you say it could be a mimic?
It could be a mimic. Mimics eat, right?
I don't think I've seen a mimic
Is-
take a humanoid form before.
They said you found it in a barrel. It was eating.
It's still
Seems like a mimic to me.
Is that a mimic?
I'll step forward and hold out
This
a
thing
hand.
is no larger than a beagle.
Yeah.
What? As soon as you hold your hand out towards it, he does reflexively like flinch and kind of crawl back a little bit.
No hurt, no hurt.
I'll kneel down in front of him to get to his eye level. Are you injured?
I did get ouchy before booms happened.
Come here.
He sits down properly, and you can see that his ankle is very swollen.
I'll look him over.
Just by glancing at it, there's not even a need for a check. It's definitely been dislocated.
All right. I'm going to touch your leg. Is that okay?
No hurt.
It might hurt a little bit, but I promise you'll feel better after.
Hold him.
I'll reach out and take his hand.
Just grabs like 3 of your fingers because that's all he can fit, but he just kind of clenches and holds his breath.
I'll look at Blink real quick and not sticky. I don't think it's a mimic. And then I'll put my other hand on the ankle and I'll do a cure wounds.
All right, roll the healing.
Okay.
Does he look like he's gonna scream?
He's like taking a massive breath and like his
As his mouth opens and he goes to bite down, like slide an arrow in his mouth, so he like bites down on it.
This way, right?
Yeah.
this way. He stabs him straight through his brain and dies instantly.
No, yeah.
He bites down on it, but to your dismay, he bites straight through it.
Little
This
crocodile
thing
jaws.
apparently has quite a large, powerful jaw. Unless you're using one of your magic arrows.
I feel like they could be bad for him.
If you're,
So-
I'm saying if you're using like a standard arrow, it's just wood. He's gonna.
Yeah,
bite straight
it was a standard arrow.
Yeah, he definitely bites straight through it. He actually starts chewing. He's like,
Then I imagine the spell goes on.
Now that doesn't taste up.
but the joint realigns and the swelling starts to go down.
Yes, no hurt.
I said it would hurt a little bit, but how do you feel now?
He wiggles his foot around and starts to hit it on the floor, see if it hurts, and he just stands up. He's no more than 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
I no hurt standing.
All right.
Yippee!
Well, perhaps go easy on it for a while, but you should be at least less painful. So, not that we're not excited to meet you, but what were you doing on the ship?
Smell food, so went to eat food.
Right, Fair enough.
What do we call you?
Mm.
He has been called many things, but not really a name.
We call him Chomp. I'm looking at my broken arrow.
He looks at that broken arrow and he just kind of licks his chops.
Chomp.
Is that champ?
Do you like that name?
No, it seems okay. I do champ.
Says as he produces another radish and just takes a bite out of it.
If you like it.
Okay. I am the champ now.
What were you doing in Vulgar, Chomp?
What's the burger?
It's the town that the ship was docked in.
Oh, you mean the place where all the angry loud people were?
Indeed, the place where all the angry loud people are.
I don't know. Kind of just walked into town. I woke up in the crab tree place. Then there was a waterfall, but it was backwards. Then I was in dumpster, being yelled at.
Backwards. I look over at Blink. A backwards waterfall and then into a dumpster?
Perhaps we should take this conversation above deck.
Right.
Jace is not making like any ridiculous facial expressions, but you can just see the glitters in her eyes. And this is the most adorable thing that she's ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, we should ask the others about if they know what he might be. Perhaps we don't mention what happened to this barrel. And I'll let him keep what he has, but I'll pull the barrel back up and kind of like reseal the top of it.
Yeah, he just finishes biting down on his radish and eats it completely.
Where are we going?
We're gonna go talk to the angry hairy man, but do not worry. He will not be angry towards you.
Oh, I remember him. He tried to hit me.
He tried to hit you
Yeah, big step.
with a big stick. Excellent.
Don't worry though, I'm very fast. He could not hit me.
How old are you?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3 days,
3 days.
I think. I can't really remember all that well.
Oh, alright.
I'm hungry.
Alright, well, we need to have a conversation first, and I'll hold my hand down to him.
He reaches up and tries to grab, but seeing as he's 2 feet tall, he can't really reach all the way up there.
Yeah,
So
I'll
just
pick-
kind of he's
okay.
kind of stuck doing an uppies position.
I'll pick him up.
Yeah, he lets you.
You smell nice.
Thank you. Oh, let's go find the others and see what they can make of this.
As you go ahead. What are you about to
I
say?
said Blink's up top, just scanning the shorelines.
Yeah, you made your way up, and as Gemini makes her way up with you, you notice that you have made it past the bay area, and you are now actually within the seas. You're about right up here. You're making pretty decent progress, but it should take maybe about a day for you to make it all the way to the city down here. But as you have requested, you have been hugging the shoreline.
Have I seen anything, or has it just been?
It's been pretty quiet, and that's what makes it worse.
Even like wildlife, nothing.
Oh no, no sea life of any kind. You're kind of the wastes right here are just cliff faces, so it's kind of like Britain. It's just a bunch of cliffs. Which is why the only ways to get into Solania was through the capital or through Kalaman.
Yeah, I'm gonna secure my bow and go back to the map. Start planning out a route.
Yeah, move y'all up here. Well, you're doing the planning. What's about you, Gemini?
Durin.
Durgan is currently just not sitting, but standing at the wheel, keeping a close eye on the cliff face to make sure there aren't any surprise attacks. Doesn't seem to. Well, he hears you, but he doesn't like turn towards you.
I'll try to. Oh, is there a way I can stand in front of him, or is there only behind him?
Yeah. There's like a 10-foot by 10-foot platform where the wheel is.
I'm gonna stay. I should probably like 10 feet away from him, just out of his reach, or what I think his reach might be. But, there again, we found something on the ship. Wondering if you might know what it is.
I'm being a little more specific than that.
He turns towards you.
Me?
You.
I'll kind of take a step back. Hold on.
What is that rat doing on my boat?
Not rat! Chop!
What?
My name is Chop! I think it was Chop, right?
If that's what you want.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Chop, not Rat! You big hairy meaty!
I'll kind of laugh a little.
Steam comes out of his nose.
Well, we found him on the ship. Was not sure what Chomp is. Wondering if potentially you knew.
Specifically, no. All I do know is that it's a malformed rat. That's all I care to know.
He's not a rat, he is scaly.
Then he has a disease.
He doesn't appear to be diseased.
I'm hungry.
He does not stop eating though.
Wait. Where did you find him?
Down below. Below the deck.
Where specifically?
Jace found him while she was cleaning up. You have any idea what this might be? I mean, it almost looks like a large lizard.
No. I do not know what it is, nor do I care.
Alright.
If you're going to keep it, it's your responsibility. You feed it, you clean it.
Very well.
If introductions are complete, I believe I have mapped out our route.
I'll walk over to the table with Chomp.
Chomp just kind of hops off and sits on the table looking at the map.
So I'm gonna be kind of like circle where we are and kind of draw out the path where we've already been, and then sort of like where we're going, and circle a little cove in the mountains. We could store our boat here
Right?
and travel. Yeah, exactly what I've drawn on the map. We could trek through the mountains. hopefully you make it to the capital.
Are you still planning to go around the river or go out into the open sea?
Where your icons are, where you
Oh,
are right now, you're
no.
already out in the open sea.
Yeah.
Oh,
But you have been hugging the coast, just like you've been asking him to.
Yep.
do we need to go to the... Is the city in the mountains, or is it a port city?
It's a port surrounded by a mountain range.
So this might be easy
We
to
don't-
access it, but if there's gonna be another dragon attack, it is a kill box.
We don't have to go through the mountains. We can go under them.
Why?
It's insane. You can't go under mountain, too big.
Safer. If the armies are attacking on the surface, the Underdark may be our best friend.
The Underdark will never be your best friend.
Well, it'll be a nice little shortcut.
Why do we need to even go under the mountain? If the city is where we're trying to go, we can just pull into the port.
Which city are you thinking?
Here, I'll point.
That is the city you were pointing towards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's surrounded by a mountain range though, right?
Yeah, but it's connected to the Bay Area
So-
right here. It's a port city.
Oh, so there's not like a sheer cliff face, right?
No. This is one of the
Okay.
2 ways you can get into Solamnia without climbing
I,
the cliff.
I thought there was a mountain range right there. So it's just open.
That's your character. Like you genuinely thought that was a mountain range. That's completely fine. I will say this: it would be quicker to go where you are right now, but it would not the metagame. It would be safer to go in the Underdark, depending on what I roll for your encounters.
It's gonna be safer to go into the
How
Underdark.
does Gemini get freaked out when I suggest the Underdark?
A little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Chomp doesn't have any particularly interesting response except
No like that. Dark make everything good.
The dark can be your friend.
Why? Why do you insist that we go into the Underdark? And why?
It's better than...
Why are you so familiar with it?
I've been to the Underdark a few times. I'm not...
everyone turns towards you.
Who hasn't been curious?
Jace, Chomp, Durgan, all raise their hand. Don't you just love this little army of minions I'm giving you?
Very well.
We don't have to. We're more than capable of traveling surface side.
No, you.
But I want to show you something. The armies came from here, and I want to show the red arrow.
Mm-hmm.
It can be assumed everything here is exactly like what we just saw.
You're right. I'm sorry. I trust your judgment. We would have the advantage of not having that beast over our heads if we were underground.
Perhaps we can make some allies down there.
Who do you have in mind?
That's where I was hoping you'd come in.
Excuse me?
Sorry, but
Dirk is like, he walks away. He's not sitting there for that.
you're familiar with the Underdark now.
I am. As a peddler.
You don't have any. Well, I've passed in snippets. I've not adventured down there. I don't even know what it's like. It's kind of scary.
Is there?
Grown ass man, scared of the dark.
There is. The Underdark is not just a small place. It spans over, and I'll kind of wave a hand over the map. Miles and miles of tunnels. It is an entire land underneath the surface.
So you're saying it's conquerable? And perhaps the people down there would have something to fight for too.
Potentially. I do not know what is under our feet. What cities there might be or what peoples. Drow were not favorable. I do not think we should view that as an advantage. Especially if we encounter dwarves or gnomes. Especially gnomes.
I hate dwarves.
At the mention of dwarves, you remember Dvalin and how he was saying that he wasn't going to leave that city.
Yeah.
And how he probably didn't leave that city.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have to go to the Underdark. It was just a theory.
It is an option. But I am inclined to follow the leads that we currently have. We were told by a divinity, after all.
It's true.
What's divinity?
What are we going to offer the kingdom that we're approaching, other than a stern warning of what's to come? What if they don't believe us?
I can't assume that they wouldn't. All we'd have to do is... They're more than welcome to validate our claims. Someone by now must have noticed that an entire... And I look down at the map. Kalaman and Vogler. I would assume this keep, and I'll point to Dangard keep.
Darnard.
I'll point to it. I would imagine this is no longer standing either. Plus any other peoples that might be caught in between. They've had to have noticed something's at least wrong. And if what Jace told us, not many made it out, we might be the first ship to arrive.
Can we see smoke in the distance at all?
In which direction?
Back towards the keep, where the keep would be.
Oh, that's miles in another direction. You definitely can't see in that far.
Okay.
Besides just a giant cliff covering most of your field of vision in that direction anyways.
Perhaps. As far as we know, we're kind of the only survivor that lived to tell the tale.
Which means that we might have information that is useful. Although if that doesn't work, then we can always try going underneath.
Jace, do you know anybody from here?
She stops what she's doing and puts the broom up against a post, and you see her pull out a rock that she then puts up to her ear. Why don't you both make Arcana checks?
Ooh. Natural one.
Natural 19.
Gemini, that's a weird looking rock.
Yeah.
Blink, that's a sending stone.
Blink's curious, but slowly doing Blink things as I'm gonna like kind of cross my arms over and kind of reach for my dagger.
She just holds her hand, not making eye contact with you. She just holds her hand up. She puts the rock away. My lord, he's made it safely to the city.
To the city.
Indeed.
How was he received?
Not well.
And he's a noble.
What do you mean
Was.
not? What do you mean
Was a noble.
A noble is only a noble for as long as they have land, and our land is no more. So. A noble and title only.
What do you mean he was not received well? What happened?
People do not take kindly to people entering their home and telling them that, well, they're going to die. I will be blunt. The master is not very subtle.
That's what I was afraid of. Someone who was held in high regard at one point turned away.
We will simply have to wait and see if the king will hear him out. Until then, he has been incarcerated.
He's been arrested.
Indeed.
You are very relaxed about that.
It is not the first time he has been incarcerated. It will not be the last.
It's not like he doesn't have any body on the outside that could help him either.
He has several informants in the city. Many people who roll in favors. I doubt he'd need any of that to get help, though. Very influential indeed.
We need to think about this strategy, Gemini. We can't go walking in to the city. We'll be met with the same fate, no doubt. Especially two outcasts like you and I. I mean, like you.
I turn fully to look at you.
I believe I am needed elsewhere. You two will have your conversation now. Yes? Good.
Would you mind taking Chomp with you?
Of course not. I would absolutely adore taking the little creature with me. Come here, small one.
Am I getting uppies?
Yes, you are getting uppies. Picks him up and slings him over her shoulder and just walks out. Try not to damage anything. I just cleaned up.
Oh, wait till she leaves.
She closes the door behind her. You are alone.
Blink. We
Yes.
known each other over the course of 3 days.
Perhaps.
I will answer any questions that you wish to know about myself. I would appreciate if you had some trust in me.
Okay. I'll give you 3 questions.
Why do you hide your face around me?
It's not just you, it's everyone. Is that an adequate answer?
I think you know it's not.
I get more respect when I look this way. Our people can be very judgmental.
I'm aware. What happened to this woman that you're looking for?
She was taken. By the same man who bore that symbol that we saw at the bar.
Hmm. Do you know why?
Yes. She was very powerful. She could cast magic too.
Suppose that is my 3 questions.
Suppose it was.
Fine. I do hope that whatever secrets you are keeping, Link, do not put us in any more danger than we already are.
They do.
promise. We may not be able to succeed if we are not candid with one another. Whether we like it or not, we are on the same path.
Is there anyone around with an earshot currently?
You are completely alone below deck, so unless you're yelling or talking very loudly, no one's going to hear you.
I'm gonna kind of do a quick once around the room.
What, you fucking checking for...
Just to make
bugs?
sure. Just to make sure.
Yeah, there's... doesn't seem to be...
There's a reason I've seen this destruction and death before and why it doesn't bother me. I'm military. I'm not from a large army or kingdom, from a small subsect called the Legion of Steel. I am undercover. You cannot know the details of my mission.
Oh,
I'm gonna present my sorry. I gotta see the exact wording of it. Yeah, my star medallion. It's just a small silver Legion of Steel medallion, but it's got almost diamonds encrusted in it that kind of reflects with moonlight. It's about the size of a brooch.
Right.
you're undercover. You from another kingdom or something?
Yes, we have strongholds throughout Kryn. Mine is from a small town called Ballast in Kindermal.
And I'm assuming that the dragon armies have harmed this town.
I hope not. A lot of innocent people live there, including my elderly father.
But you've been following this destruction then, as part of your work.
I've been ahead of it, surveying, finding any similarities, any patterns, but it's not just one army. They don't have detailed strategies or battle routines. It's almost random with the chaos.
I'm just gonna look at what I can see of his face, mainly is the eyes, and study the expression.
My eyes are like starburst blue in the dim light.
Not a natural eye color.
No.
Do you serve the dragon armies?
No.
His reaction.
I serve the Legion of Steel.
And why is that such a secret? Something that you must guard so closely. Is this faction not accepted?
We're more the equivalent of bounty hunters than we are an army. When people see us, they don't typically know which side we're on.
I see. Right then.
And I'm on my own personal vendetta now. So, I guess you could say I'm AWOL.
So potentially you might be pursued as well by this Legion of Steel.
Another thing we have in common.
Alright. Then I could see the need of caution to not make ourselves known in the city.
Or to trust anyone.
I looked out the map. If we go into the front, we'll have to present ourselves.
Agreed. But if we go under, we may be able to blend in.
Alright.
It worked last time.
Will that work last time?
I mean, I used you as a bargaining token, but it worked. I have no contacts down there, by the way. That was just pure luck.
But I
Wait, what?
appreciate your honesty.
You're lucky I'm an improv DM.
I mean, I did walk into the thieves' hideout without a plan. Like that. That's very. They had no idea what was gonna happen.
Great.
Yeah.
What have we learned?
It worked. It's gonna work again.
Is it?
Let's hope.
So have you been to the city before?
I know of it.
Do you know if there are any tunnels under the city?
I don't even know if the army's competent. I know they have an army.
Oh boy. As much as I see your point in not wanting to announce ourselves in the ports, going blindly into the Underdark, or even close to it, is suicidal. We don't know what can be down there, we don't know what forces could be down there, or worse, we could get very, very lost. Without a guide, I would caution against it.
No, I see your point completely. We should walk right into the port with a minotaur and a drow.
Smell sarcasm.
It is quite fresh in the air. guy's soft. That is unfortunate. Alright. But the alternative is we what? Wander until we find hopefully a cavern underneath.
Yes. But I think you're right. It's dangerous.
I'll look along the map.
But what if we had a plan?
I'm listening.
You know. The dragon armies are attacking. What better way to convince people than with a real living dragon? Or something close enough.
Just hear a high-pitched sneeze coming up from up top deck.
What?
We could pretend that he's one that we've found and domesticated. I don't know. We'll think of
Sean?
something. I mean,
Don't kill
he's
me.
got this. Well, would they though?
Why wouldn't they?
We could use it as a symbol of warning. Look what we found. I don't have plans. I sneak into places. I don't do this front door
I do not
thing.
do the thinking thing.
Well, what if we compromise? A city this large, it needs irrigation. Water has to be distributed along with the city's waste. Channels like
Okay.
that usually open out into the oceans or rivers, something to help keep things clean. Well, I do not enjoy the idea of going back into a sewer line. That might be a way, if we can find one, we might be able to sneak in that way.
It's true. We could do that. We could also pose as merchants.
Acid.
That would make sense. Is that any different though than presenting ourselves?
I don't know how you'll be accepted, if I'm being completely candid.
I do not plan to walk around without my previous attire.
But don't guards check all persons at the gate?
I didn't run into that issue in the last one. But potentially, I don't know.
Sorry, I just like to have backup plans.
You're right. Maybe we could try a sewer line. Maybe that get us under the walls without being seen.
Perhaps. It's a little bit nicer than my other idea.
Which was?
Stealing some guard uniforms by knocking out some guards.
Blink!
Hey. I said I didn't suggest it.
I think the less of a stir that we make might be best. But we're gonna have to get... I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. We're gonna have to make sure that Durgan can keep his composure.
Agreed. Perhaps it's best if we leave him at the boat.
Perhaps. You also keep an eye on that cannon he's carrying around.
I don't think he's the one we need to be worried about, though.
Basil.
Uh-huh.
Pop's arm.
We'll have to have a conversation with her and Tim. I do not know if she would even want to come with us. But perhaps that is our first plan. Let us see if we can find a sewer line into the city. Perhaps we can slip through the walls without making our presence known.
Perhaps. perhaps. It's a plan. But I also think we should leave our options open in case something else presents itself when we get there.
I agree. I'm a little worried about the way you said that, though.
Why?
I just... Not to hold your new honesty against you, but... Perhaps let me know if you're going to use a member of this crew as bait.
That wouldn't be very good bait, would it? I promise.
Let's start there and see what happens.
Alright. One more thing. As like Blink starts to like walk out. He waits for a response.
I just look up at you. Yes, Blink.
She's my wife. And I'm gonna like walk out.
You open the door and something falls onto your feet.
What is it?
Chomp.
I'm gonna walk around it.
Yeah, I wasn't listening in to conversation. That'd be bad.
We should probably have a conversation about lying at some point, Jump. And I'll be
I'm
gathering up all
sorry.
the maps and stuff.
Can I help?
I'm sure you can. But we need to make sure that you stay safe. That we all stay safe. And where we are going, the people might not like the way that we look. They're not used to seeing people like us. So,
Why not?
well,
You look pretty.
and you are very handsome. It is, as Blink likes to say, we're different. So, and I'll pick up my hat and kind of like drop it onto his head. I think we need to find something for you to wear to act as your own disguise.
Yeah, this is the entire time he hasn't worn anything. Like, this is just commando.
Alright,
But, I mean, there's nothing to hide anyways.
yeah, I'll help him to... I'll eventually take the hat back, but I'm gonna try to help him find something to wear that we might be able to, like a little cloak or something, we could pull a hood up to try to perhaps hide what he is if for some reason he has to come off the boat with us.
Sure, make a investigation check. See if you can find anything or maybe things that you can use to fashion a makeshift disguise.
I'll cast guidance on myself.
Good.
15 plus 3, 18 for investigation.
18 investigation?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that you managed to pull together some loose pieces of tarp and other cloth-like materials and just fashion a quick little cloak to pull over his head. His horns, unfortunately, aren't very easy to hide, so it just kind of looks like he has a massive fucking head.
Yeah.
But it goes down to his feet. So unless you're looking at his feet while he's walking, you aren't going to be able to tell that he's a kobold.
Alright. I'll kind of mess with like the hood. If anyone asks, you are a gnome, but try not to talk to anyone besides us, alright?
No. No, I'm bad.
Gnome bad.
No, I'm bad.
Why are gnomes bad?
I don't know.
Who told you gnomes were bad?
The voice?
What voice?
You can't hear him?
Oh.
What's the matter? He thinks you're silly.
Yeah, but he does. I'm gonna go find Blink.
What you think of that situation that you just stumbled onto?
That's super unfortunate.
Trauma.
Yeah. Gotta do something about the boy.
Poor baby boy. He doesn't deserve it. Yeah. You make your way upstairs. Blank, you were up there first. What were you doing? Anything before you were followed? Or
Yeah, I'm tightening my bowstring a bit. And just kind of taking inventory of my arrows.
Okay.
And sending you this.
Oh boy, I love being sent things.
I gotta hop off soon, Dungeon Master.
Yeah. We're drawn to a close. Do not fret, child.
Alright.
Jesus Christ! Oh no, I was scrolled up. All right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add that to your little information block I have.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, as the session draws to a close, is there any final thoughts going through the heads of our adventurers as the horizon, as the sun starts to fully come over the horizon, showing the great city just maybe a few hours in the distance?
Would you say it's daybreak?
Yeah, it's definitely daybreak.
Now, the world of Dragonlance, I don't know exactly, but is the moon still in the sky even though it's day?
Yes. There's
What
always
moon
a
is
moon in
it?
the sky. Shit. That's a good question. It's still the same moon that was out beforehand.
So it's not the red moon.
No, it's not the red moon. It's the...
Okay.
Fuck. But all the colors. I know there's a red moon. Is there a blue moon?
I think so.
If there is, that's the one that's out. I can't remember the color. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
Sure.
kind of look over at Gemini and say, remember, secrets kept are better than secrets spilled. I'm gonna go back to taking inventory.
Okay.
Alright. We'll deal with Chomp, I think, next session.
What you mean deal with them? What's wrong?
Don't give me that. My own party's going through that same dilemma right now. Alright. I'm gonna do raid, so thank you so much everyone for joining us for session 4 of Dragonlance. Everything's on fire again. So hopefully we'll have
I'm
Sim.
such a comedic genius.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have Sim back next week for arriving in our really next big major city. Let's see how quickly we get under attack.
As
Alright,
soon
thanks.
as Sim enters the city,
Yeah, it's just immediate
Chaos.
aggression.
she's
Alright,
gonna attack a guard.
we're gonna raid Old World Charms. Go ahead and say hello, and we'll see you all next Monday. Bye, guys.